Hey, welcome. I'm your humble host, Phys Ed Music, and this right here is Urban Politics. Whoa! Want to thank you all for liking and subscribing as you do. As soon as you have a chance, please run on over to YouTube, like and subscribe. Phys Ed Music, Urban Politics. But without further ado, I want to jump right into it like a car and drive because there's all types of tasty and delicious politics to sink our teeth into. Now, maybe you've heard the news, maybe you haven't. But there were a couple of people who had the audacity, the sheer unmitigated gall, to ask for pardons. First of all, if you're asking for a pardon, that's an admission of guilt. You go to the president and say you need a pardon. Why would you need a pardon unless you're about to do some crime, right? So here's the people who ask for pardons. Now, please remember these names. Because some of you out there, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure will have the chance to vote for these people or not vote for these people. I hope you remember this when it comes around time to where you vote for these people or not. So, Scott Perry. If you don't know that buffoon, learn the name. Scott Perry, he asked for a pardon. Mo Brooks. Louis Gohmert. The deplorable MTG Marjorie Taylor Greene. And Matt Gaetz. Now, what's so egregious about your boy Matt Gaetz is not only did he ask for a pardon, he wanted something that doesn't even exist. He wanted like till the end of time pardon. I don't know what you'd even call that, but I mean, and you can go look this up. This guy wanted Trump to give him like a pardon that would just cover anything that he may ever do. So if he committed a crime in the future, he wanted it to be covered by this pardon that he could get by the president. And he already knew the crimes that he was committing or is committing right now, perpetuating that big lie and then the thing that they did on January 6th, trying to overtake the government. They already knew they did that, so I was going to do that at this time. You know what I'm saying? So he wanted a pardon for that, but he wanted a pardon for a whole bunch of other stuff, probably because Matt Gaetz has all these issues with young women and young women that he's taken across state lines, and they got laws against that. So he's got issues with that, so he wanted a pardon to take care of that stuff too. And it's interesting how the GOP, they're always coming after people on the left, calling them groomers, you know, swearing up and down that Hillary Clinton had some pizzeria where she was running a child sex ring out of. But then you have people like Matt Gaetz, who literally have charges for messing with young women. And he's in the GOP, one of their most outspoken members. They'll have a problem with that. So that's interesting. What the hypocrisy of our democracy, some of that. So there's that. These people had the audacity to ask for pardons. Like I said, that's an admission of guilt. So where you at, Garland? Where you at, Department of Justice? You need to go see about these people. Because if they ask for a pardon, that means they're guilty. Where are the charges? People must be held accountable or this thing will happen again. I've said it. Everyone else has said it. So hopefully somebody over there at the Department of Justice is listening. Word. Anyway, moving on. Let's talk about Alabama. Now, Alabama is in the Bible Belt. It's a southern state. So, of course, they got some trans laws that are kind of off the chain. Now, my whole problem with this thing is that it seems like this is just the latest boogeyman for the right. You know, back in the day, believe it or not, when there weren't too many issues for them to glom onto and act like it was something that was so horrible and so bad for families that they pretend to care about, back in the day, you know what I'm saying, there's a Bone song, and there's a politician in the beginning of the song who said, we're not against rap, we're not against rappers, but we are against these thugs. And all that was garbage. GOP don't care nothing about thugs or what's going on the streets of you know, some poor Americans. They just wanted a boogeyman, somebody to go after, somebody to blame things on, somebody, you know what I'm saying, a straw man. So, you know what I'm saying, the new straw man, the new boogeyman is this trans community and really youth, trans youth. Which, as you know, I have worked with kids, you know what I'm saying, in youth, 30 plus years of my life, and I'm not that old, I'm 46, so 30 plus years of my life I've been working with the youth, right? So I really am dedicated to young people, but I really don't like it when they go after these trans young people because it's hard enough to be a young person. It's hard enough to be a human being. We have to deal with some of these issues that these trans people have to deal with. It's, you know, that's extra hard. And then for the GOP to try to make them scapegoats or to come after them, I think that's just extremely egregious. So I got to talk about it. So the Justice Department stepped in to block a law making it a felony for doctors to treat transgender people under 19. With puberty blockers and hormones to help affirm their new gender identity. Now, this has been an issue of contention because there are people on both sides, and I've talked about it on this show too. There are some people. The one woman, she actually is a doctor who is transgender herself. And she said that she kind of felt bad because she said, I am responsible for making this issue kind of more acceptable to American society. But at the same time, she felt like some of these kids were doing this because it was trendy. Taking these puberty blockers, being told that, hey, you got these problems, you got things going on. If you just take these puberty blockers or, get your transition started, that, you'll feel better and be better or whatever. So she was saying that she didn't necessarily, oh, give me, let me fix that. She was just saying that that she thought maybe that might be what's going on. That it's almost kind of trendy that these young people were doing this just because it's hot for the day. Then there was this other doctor who was like, no. A lot of these young people, they need these hormones. They need this therapy. They're going through this thing, and they need these puberty blockers. And to block them, could be detrimental, to their lives and them living. So there's both sides of it, right? They say this right here is the furthest reaching law and the first to actually criminalize these treatments. So I guess, there's been people who came out against this treatment or whatever, but now they're trying to criminalize it. You could end up going to jail for treating a kid, under 19 with these puberty blockers and these hormones and such. Governor Abbott, and you've heard that guy lately because of other stuff going on in Texas that he didn't handle right at all. That's another story. Governor Abbott has ordered the state child welfare agency to investigate these as reports of abuse and reports of gender confirming care for kids. So if this is going on, if parents are allowing their children to access these hormones, to access these these hormones and these puberty blockers, then they can be prosecuted. And then the doctors who are actually, prescribing this, they can be prosecuted for prescribing, these medications. So, Arkansas had the same law, but it was blocked. So, you know what I'm saying? That's what's going on right now. It's just a back and forth. You've seen people in the news, too, about them wanting to stop transgender women from competing in women's sports. You even saw Caitlyn Jenner come out against it, and I think she was saying that for a transgender woman, for it to be okay for her to compete in female sports, she needs to have transitioned before 19. But after that, they were saying that that's not fair or whatever and stuff. I don't know, man. This whole thing is up in arms. I do a radio show. I was doing a radio show earlier and talking to some guys. And I was talking about that. And, that is the question. What is a woman? They posed that to the sister who is now Supreme Court Justice, Ketanji Brown. And she couldn't tell them. She said, I can't necessarily define what a woman is. It comes in all different shapes and sizes. They were saying that's another reason that people on the left or people who are Democrats are kind of losing some of these arguments, even about abortion. Now, I talked about it on the show. I think abortion is definitely a winning issue for the left. But they said Democrats and people on the left are losing that issue. Why? Because they don't want to necessarily refer to women having babies. Because they're like, well, not all women have periods. And some women don't have periods. And some women do have periods. And now they're calling them birthing people. People who have babies. Not necessarily women. They're birthing people. We're talking about birthing people. When you start using language like that, people get turned off. But I don't know what to say about that. You know what I'm saying? There's a documentary out that's being pushed by Ben Shapiro. That's why I'm kind of like, do I really want to see it? Lord knows I don't agree with that guy on anything. But that was the question. What is a woman? I do want to see that documentary. It's on Netflix. I talked about it on the show. I got to check that out because now that has become a question to me. What is a woman? Are you a woman just because you have a uterus? Because I would venture to say you're not a man just because you have a penis. There's plenty of men who have penises. I wouldn't consider them men. Right? So... But that's just me. I tell you, it's a question is what it is. It's quite the conundrum, ladies and gentlemen. So if you got anything on that, you can always give me some pushback. You in the pushback zone. Please push back on that and let me know. What would you say is a woman? Is a woman because she has a uterus and gives birth to children, has a period? Or does it go deeper than that? Or is it something different than that? Or I don't know. Something I got to investigate. I'll come back at you when I got more on that. Anyway, moving on. Let's talk about the Supreme Court and their shenanigans. And right about now, I think Trevor Noah said it best. The Supreme Court is feeling itself. They're feeling themselves. They're feeling themselves. They're feeling themselves like Beyonce. They're feeling themselves. They have that conservative majority, and they going hard. They are going hard with it. See, that's the thing too. That's the difference between Republicans and Democrats. When Democrats get power, they get that power and then they say, so what is the rule of law? What's the fair thing to do now that we have this power? Let's do it fair. That's stupid. That's stupid in some cases. Republicans get power and they say rules be damned. Excuse me, it's a family show, but there it is. They say rules be damned and they just blaze through. Things they want to do, they just do it. If it's fair or well, if it's legal, we're running things right now. We'll make it legal. We'll make it work. And that's the difference between the GOP and the Democratic Party. When the GOP got power, they use it and they wield it like a sword. They just start cutting things down. Democrats get party and they kind of like hold it tight to, we don't know. We might cut a little, but we don't want to do a lot. So, yeah, that's why a lot of people lose patience, you know what I'm saying, with Joseph Robinette Biden and Kamala Harris. Anyway, here's what we're talking about. We're talking about how the Supreme Court gutted the Voting Rights Act. They did that a while ago, right? So, and I talked about it on this show, you know what I'm saying, how Malcolm died for it, Malcolm X. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Even though, you know what I'm saying, by any means necessary, he had his own way of going about civil rights, but he died for it as well. Martin Luther King, he marched for it. He died for it. You know what I'm saying? Al Sharpton marching for it, still screaming about it. And in one fell swoop, they took it away. They gutted, Section 4 of the Voting Rights Act. So there they go. They did that. Supreme Court bringing that to you. They overturned Roe versus Wade. Now they've done that, as of recent times. So that's what's going on right now. And this is something they've been wanting to do for 50 years. This was a huge win for the GOP. They've been wanting to overturn Roe versus Wade. A lot of people on the right are just staunchly against abortion. They don't like it. They want it to go away. They just don't agree with it. They do not think that women should have access to safe and legal abortions. They just don't like it. I get that. Even saying the word abortion makes me cringe inside. I don't think it's a good thing either, but I do think it's a necessary evil because there's a lot of reasons why a woman might not need or want to have a baby. And just the fact that she ends up in the family way, I don't think that her back should be against the wall and she should have to have that baby. You see what I'm saying? But obviously, the Supreme Court does, right? So they did that, essentially putting legislation of abortions in the state's hands. There was a page drafted earlier this month that set the stage for that. So that's all this was. When they did that earlier this month, I talked about it on the show too. They were just poking the bear. That's what they was doing, poking the bear. They said, you know what I'm saying? Let's bounce this off. Let's bounce this off everybody and see just how crazy it gets. And it got crazy. Oh, it got crazy. Because right now, as we speak, I guarantee you, there are ladies and gentlemen outside of some of these court justices' houses picketing and protesting, trying to preserve a woman's right to choose. You know what I'm saying? So that's what's going on. They wanted to see how bad it would get, and they see it's gotten bad. Now they talking about, we need legislation to where people shouldn't be able to protest like that. And y'all saw this coming. They saw this coming. They knew that when you break the 50 plus years of precedent, you want to change a law after it's been law of the land for 50 years just because you don't like it and a small group of people don't like it. You're going to be boycotts. There's going to be protests, and they knew this was coming. So this ain't, they want to act, we're so appalled. Can't believe that a court justice would be treated like this just because of their opinion. Why is the court being politicized? Because y'all politicized it, GOP. Get out of here. Everybody knows that abortion is a hot button issue. And they knew it too. So they did this, but they've been wanting to do this. Like I said, it's a huge victory for them. They've been trying to do this for 50 years. They've been trying to do this longer than I've been alive, right? And they finally were successful. So, you know what I'm saying? It's a family show. Mitch McConnell. It's not what I call him. That's what I call him for y'all. Mitch McConnell is doing a dance of joy. He wanted this too, and they're not done yet, ladies and gentlemen. So there it is. They got rid of Roe versus Wade. They've overturned that. They're coming next after same-sex marriage and then interracial marriage. Now, I said that, somebody went nuts. Interracial marriage, I heard it from somebody in the back, went crazy. Interracial marriage, they coming after that? Yes. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. This is what happens. This is what happens when you don't pay attention. This is what happens when you let an orange buffoon get in office who stops a Merrick Garland. Well, no. Actually, Mitch McConnell did that. He played Obama on that. He stopped Garland. So that's a liberal that we didn't get on the Supreme Court. Then you get an orange guy in there who rushes through a Amy Coney Barrett, who rushes through a Kavanaugh, a Brett Kavanaugh. And this is what you get. And they've been working on this. They've been galvanizing. They orchestrated this, and it's coming off perfectly without a hitch. They've been wanting to do this. This is their plans coming to fruition, right? So, what do you do about that? Ladies, you got to galvanize now. The fight has always been on over abortion rights. That is a fight that will rage on even after I'm going, even after you're going, even after your kids are going. They'll still be going on and on about abortion and abortion's rights and a woman's right to choose. But here's the thing. Now the fight has even got hotter. Now things have turned up because they've taken away the right now. And it saddens me because I was talking about it, like I said, on the radio show that I do. Do they want to go back to that? There's a movie called If These Walls Could Talk. And I hope I'm getting that information right. I hope anybody with ears and eyes, you should see this movie. Because this movie is a true account of abortion and what some of these women have went through. Back in the days when abortion was not legal. And everybody should watch that and be able to feel that and understand and sympathize with the fact that sometimes a woman has to make that decision, and we shouldn't make it to where she can't get access to the care that she needs. My God, and that's why I'm like, do people want to go back to that? They want to go back to back alley abortions. They want to go back to butchers ripping women apart. They want to go back to women throwing themselves down staircases. They want to go back to women using hangers and sticking them beside themselves. And then, risk killing and murdering themselves. Yeah, this stuff happened. These are true accounts, right? That's why I said check out that movie If These Walls Could Talk, because I don't think that everybody understands just how deep this thing goes, And I understand people want to talk about the right to life. I get it. I got Catholic friends. I have conservative friends, and they be on that. You know what I'm saying? They be on that. Everybody has the right to life, right to life, right to life. But it's interesting now the GOP, they care about the life while it's in the woman's uterus, but then as soon as it comes out, they don't want to do anything to take care of it, right? They won't support food stamps to feed this life that they said there was a right to life. This thing had a right to life, but you won't give it any food. You won't give it any housing. You won't give it anything once it comes out the mother. So that's how the GOP is. They care about life right up until it comes out. Then, now you need to get a job and start pulling yourself up by your own bootstraps. It's the hypocrisy of our democracy, ladies and gentlemen. But like I said, it's a huge win for the GOP. The GOP, you know what they want? They want an autocracy. That's what they want. They want an autocracy. Look that word up if you don't know what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is kings and queens. They want an autocracy with Trump as their king. That's what I was saying to a good friend of mine a little while ago, and that's what's going on here. They don't care about the rules of law. They don't care about what's fair. They don't care about what's just. They don't even care about America. And they talk all this stuff about love and freedom. They hate freedom. They can't stand all these freedoms that we have. They don't want this freedom. They want it to go away, and they want an autocracy. Right? And they want Trump to be king. I don't want to live in that America. But if you do, then go ahead and vote your conscience. There it is. You know what I'm saying? So that's what sometimes with America, I'm like, hey, guess what? We'll see what you want to do. But I know I don't want to live like that. But oh well, seems that sometimes some of y'all do, because this guy looks good winning again in 2024 if our Justice Department doesn't stop him. Come on now, he's done enough to where he should be barred from running again. So where they at with that? We'll see what happens. Are they so afraid of political retribution that they're not going to do anything to the orange guy? At least make it to where he can't run again. Bill Maher even said that. He said if the Democratic Party got their stuff together and did that, he'd be happy at least with that. Okay, they're doing a lot of things that he didn't dig, but he said, guess what? If they could get their act together and prosecute Trump and make it so that he couldn't run again like what's supposed to happen, that I can mess with these guys. And I agree with that too, man. And really, I tell you, the bar is underground, ain't it? That's kind of like the lowest thing, but can they at least get that done? We'll see. Anyway, moving on, let's talk about the last thing that I'm going to talk about before I get up out of here. Let's talk about a Republican debate that got canceled. Mike DeWine declined to participate. So Jim, I hope I'm saying his name right, Renacci, 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 he also decided to follow suit. He was like, oh, if DeWine ain't going to be in the debate, I ain't going to be in it either. It was scheduled for March 29th, a little while ago. DeWine's campaign manager said voters already know DeWine well because he meets with constituents daily and regularly fields questions from the media. So what? When I hear that, that's all I can think. So what? Are you serious? Here's the thing. When these guys and gals have debates, that's kind of like their resume. That's kind of like them showing you that they have the gravitas, right? Yeah, they have the political prowess. They have the executive prowess for this position. That's kind of like them auditioning for this spot. Now they don't want to do the audition anymore. You know what I'm saying? And the GOP started this. Really, Trump started this. Just saying, I'm just not going to be in some debates. I'm just not going to do it. And DeWine, dude, that's a cop-out. That's a cop-out. I don't think a politician should be able to do that. But how about this? I don't think that politicians should be able to not go to town meetings. And there's a lot of politicians who don't go to town halls. I was a little critical of Joyce Beatty, and I love that sister. Not hating on her. But, somebody brought that up to me, how, sometimes some of her town hall meetings she don't go to. Or she'll just literally phone in, like she'll be on a speakerphone. Now, I get it. A lot of politicians, especially when you've been doing it forever, you don't necessarily go to stuff like that because I'm sure, earlier in your career, you go there and there'd be 4 or 5 people there or, nobody at all. And you're like, why am I even here? People ain't even all that interested into it or whatever. But my point is, that's a part of your job. So whether you want to be there or not, you should be there. That's just like people like these congressmen and women who barely show up for a vote. And then when you see their record of how many votes they've showed up for and how they voted, you'd be like, what is this person getting paid for? $175,000 a year for you to vote yay or nay on something. You couldn't even do that. You were too busy other places trying to get more money or maybe trying to solidify your spot in the private sector. Because a lot of these dudes and gals do that stuff too, right? So that is what it is. It's sad, but I don't like that. I don't like that. And I would say to Mr. DeWine, if you in earshot of my voice, hey man, get up off your rusty dusty and go talk to your constituents and have a debate. Show us why you're better than this other guy, this Racine guy. And there's some other people who ended up not, being in the debate because when DeWine dropped out and then this Racine guy dropped out, there was one other guy who they said didn't even respond for comments. So they said they would have left one dude on the stage. He's like, well, I'm not going to debate myself. How's that going to work? So see what I'm saying? So now we don't get a debate at all. Right? So now people really have to do their due diligence. People really have to research these candidates because they don't even have to audition for you anymore. They don't even have to audition for you anymore. And who does that benefit the most? DeWine. Because he got the name recognition. You know DeWine. I've been talking about him on this show. He's been governor for a little while. You know him. He's got that. He knows that. So he wants to use it for all it's worth. Why do I want to debate? Get up here and debate so then these people can see that I suck. and link that with the name DeWine. Rather than whatever they've linked with DeWine right now, which is probably nothing because most people do not pay attention and they definitely don't pay attention to gubernatorial races. So there's that, ladies and gentlemen. But I think that's a cop-out and I think that is, I'm not going to say what I want to say because this is a family show, but I really do think it's just, it's lame and he shouldn't be allowed to do it. But that is the state of politics today. I'm your humble host, Phys Ed Music. This right here is Urban Politics, where politics lives. I want to thank you all for liking and subscribing. As soon as you have a chance, please let your little feet do the walk and take your cell phone over there to YouTube. Like and subscribe. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, see you around like a donut.